So I'm here at the old family homestead, and I'm going to show you the cabin that I'm modeling my build after. I've showed this cabin a couple times on this channel, and if you make YouTube videos, it doesn't matter what you're showing, what the video is about, people will have a problem with it. Especially if you're showing yourself building anything. I've built chicken coops, outhouses, sheds, wood sheds, cabins, both log and stick frame, and no matter what you build, people find flaws in it or just nitpick little things and tell you you're going to have all these problems and blah blah blah. But I want to show you this cabin because it's very similar to the one that I'm building right now, and it's very similar to the cabin that we have for sale right now that we've lived in for the last 5 years. So this is the cabin. My grandpa built this cabin almost 60 years ago, and I'll show you a couple things and show you the layout because this is 16 foot wide. It's kind of messy right now. We still use this cabin to this day. We slept in here last night. So this cabin's 16 foot wide by 24 foot long. So the only difference with ours is that ours is 16 foot longer. Yeah, these are two 8 foot by 8 foot bedrooms. And this cabin was in use for many, many years. My grandma and grandpa lived in it while they were building their house. They would bring their family here every single weekend and stay in it. This propane tank used to sit like right here, and it had fallen against the cabin, and it rotted out a little bit of this T111, and that's not the cabin's fault. That was our fault for not fixing this earlier. But we replaced this from right here to right here, and I got a real good look at how this thing was built. And besides the T111 that was rotten from the propane tank, everything else is in really good shape still for being 60 years old. It looks like the studs were just put up. Behind this wall, there is no Tyvek at all. It's just fiberglass insulation and studs. No house wrap, nothing. Just 2x4s, fiberglass, T111. 60 years old. Everything on it is still solid. For the foundation, it's really complicated. Here's the foundation. This is a chunk of railroad tie. So just wood, and it's spaced out every 8 feet or so. It's just sitting on chunks of railroad ties, and that's it. No concrete poured. This cabin was actually moved. It used to sit on a different part of the property, and then about 20 some years ago, they cut some logs and then used a tractor and rolled the cabin on the logs and moved it over here. A pretty good distance too. But everything with this is pretty much the same way I build my cabins. So my floor joists, all the same size. Foundation, pretty similar. I'm using concrete blocks and more of them instead of just railroad ties, and it's up higher so I can get underneath it. Otherwise, same size studs, same everything. If it's not broke, I'm not gonna fix it. But the point is that I'm trying to make is people are always gonna find flaws with stuff. Some people, it's like their hobby or something. But if there was video footage of this being built 60 years ago and put on YouTube, everybody would say this thing's going to have all kinds of problems. It wouldn't work. It's not going to last long, and it's going to rot and fall over, and the world is going to end like next week. Yeah, there's no mold. There's no problems. It's, for being as old as it is and as simple as it is, it's still in excellent shape, and we're going to get decades more use out of this thing. And with my channel, I've shown a lot of different builds, different cabins that I've built, and you got to understand that I'm building simple cabins. I'm not building houses that are $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. I'm building very affordable, simple cabins that are strong and that will absolutely last decades if they're taken care of. Up above this T111 here, this is all just painted plywood. It's just plywood that's painted. That's it. And you can see this is all original. It's in pretty good shape. Could use another coat of paint, but there's no rot or anything. It looks pretty good. Yeah, there's not even really much of an overhang back here, or on the front, or on the eaves. So I just wanted to show you the proof. So the only difference with ours is it's 16 foot longer, and it'll have a steeper pitch roof. Otherwise, all the lumber, all the studs, floor joists, ceiling joists, everything, it's all going to be the same size. And built the exact same way, because why wouldn't I do it? I know that this works and is held up excellent. So yeah, I just wanted to show that, because that's pretty much exactly what we're building. Same way, same everything, pretty much. But even still, even with me showing this, people are still going to do what people do. But it is what it is. I don't normally talk about YouTube comments like ever, because I think it comes off as kind of whiny. And my whole thing is, don't be on YouTube if you can't handle, negative comments or criticism or whatever. But I know a lot of people research cabins and they want to build their own. and then they go to the comment section and see all these people talking about how it's not going to work and all these problems they're going to have, and then you just end up getting more confused. And then, you know, so I just wanted to show you the proof that here it is, 60 years old, still in really good shape, and I'm doing it the exact same way. But people are going to do what people do. But anyways, let's get to the video. Good morning. Today's mission on the cabin build is we're going to insulate the floor, and we're also going to install our subfloor. This is what we'll be using to insulate the floor with. So this is going to lay right on top of the floor joists. This Reflectix, super easy, fast to install, and it works well. I've used the same stuff on multiple cabins now, and I have a warm floor at 40 below zero, so it just works. So we'll simply lay it down, tack it down, roll it out till we get to the end, tack it down on the ends, and just keep going. And then where the seams meet, we'll tape the seams with Reflectix tape. I would not keep using it on every single build if it didn't work as well as it does. So that's how easy this stuff is to install. I just tack one end with a couple nails, roll it out, tack it down there. I only tack the ends because once we throw on our subfloor, you know, it's going to get thousands of nails through it. So there's really no point in throwing a whole lot of nails or staples into this stuff. So now I'm going to go ahead and tape all these seams, which I need to get going on that because it was like calm as could be this morning when I started. Now the wind picked up all of a sudden, so it's getting pretty windy. So I would like to get these taped and start getting some subfloor on here before all this blows away. So I'm starting off with a half sheet of subfloor. So this is 4 foot long by 4 foot wide. Now I'll run a full sheet of subfloor, which is 8 foot long. But then my next sheet, which you'll see, I'll run a full sheet, and that way my seams are staggered. I don't want a continuous seam all the way across. That creates a weak point. So I'll run a full sheet, then a half sheet, and then a full sheet, and then a half sheet. All right, well, I've been working pretty fast because the wind, you know, has been blowing up that Reflectix. So I kind of just got going here, but there's really not much to this. All you're doing is laying it down. And if your framing's all good, then, you know, every sheet should end on a joist just like this. But it looks like I have 2.5 sheets left. So we'll see how it comes out. Everything's coming out flush on that side, so we should be good. So all my sheets came out good. My last one that I ended on came out nice and flush on the rim joists. So pretty happy with how that turned out. Feels good to be walking on a floor right now. That's a big thing, having this all done and having a nice square level platform to build off of. Captain Kirk is on site, aka my dad. So we're gonna do this front wall first. So my door's on the left-hand side right here. It'll be a pre-hung door, so the rough opening will be 38.5 by like 82 3/4 or something like that. I'll have to double check, but something like that. And then there is going to be windows on the front of this wall, but I'm not going to frame in any windows right now because looking at all the stores around here, nobody carries anything in stock anymore, and everything takes like a month or so to get here. So we're not 100% sure what we're going to do on the windows at this point. So all we have for framing is this door, and then there is sliding doors in the living room, so we can frame both those up. But the rest of it's just going to be 16 inches on center, so it'll go pretty quick, and then I'll just have to add my windows later.
See what you mean. I knocked it over.
I do it all the time.
Smashed my finger.
So that's all there is to this here. And then, yeah, because we're not adding, we're actually going to have 2 windows. I mean, that's the plan anyways, to go next to this door. But like I said, I don't have them yet, and I don't know when we're getting them or what size we're going to get.
Nails in there, according to Larry. Center?
Yeah.
All these sides done, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
This heat's going to help. I think I'm going to need to. See, like this, see both ends.
The front wall is up. Now we're going to brace it on the ends, and I'll throw one in the middle too. So we got the brace nailed into the wall. I'll hold the level on it, make sure it's plumb, and then he'll just nail it to this rim joist on this side, and that will keep our wall plumb. Okay, so we're right on there. Nice. Okay, the 2 ends are braced. We'll throw it in the middle too, keep the middle plumb. Okay, now we'll do the back wall. This one will go fast because we're just laying out our studs 16 inches on center, nailing it down. Oh, when you start getting into like, different
Galvanized metal drip plate work. There you go,
yeah.
I want to be kind of precise with the sheetrock, so the sander or the taper and mutter guy, I do what he wants. You know?
It's all about leverage. Grip here. Okay, back wall's going up. This back wall will have windows. It's kind of a bummer that I got to do it this way because it's easier to do your framing, while everything's laying flat like this, but it's no big deal I'll just have to cut the windows in and frame them while the wall's up. So it's not the end of the world, but we'll make it work. Go, bud.
grab two.
What end you want?
Take this one. Another me. And 3. Okay, just got this last little 8-foot section of wall to stand up, and we'll have 3 walls up. Goes quick not having to frame in the windows, which I'll have to do that later. You know, I've done a few windows that way before. It's not a huge deal. It's definitely easier to do it at this point.
Cut extremely nice.
It was, yeah.
That went nice.
All right, we're about to do this section of wall here, another 16-foot section. This will be where the sliding doors are. So the living room is going to be in this area, and the sliding doors will face that way. And then we'll eventually have a little porch that goes out here as well. And the sliding doors will go right here, wood stove right here. So this will kind of be our main view from the living room. So sliding doors right here, and we can go ahead and frame those in because I know those dimensions and I know what we're going with. Up here anyway.
I'll start making my way.
Huh?
I'll make my way up. It's standing time. Talk about that.
All right, the last section of wall is going in.
Tell the 2 supervisors. Pulling up street.
Okay, we got all 4 walls up, so I'll kind of give you a little rundown. So the walls, all studs are 16 inches on center, but same thing as the floor. 16 inches on center, that way my sheets come out nice, both outside and inside. So because I know that my floor is completely level, all we're doing when we stand the walls up is making sure that they're plumb. So you can see we're spot on there. And because my floor is level, I know that these are the same height all the way around right now. On these corners, right now I just have 1 top plate. There will be a double top plate all the way around the entire structure. And it will overlap here on the corners, which will tie all my corners together better and make it stronger. You can do that on the ground too, but I always just do it after I get it stood up. Then I add my double top plate. I just find it, that's just how I do it. You know, there's lots of ways to do this stuff. I have this all covered in plastic right now because I don't want rain getting between this subfloor and that Reflectix because there's nowhere for it to drain at all. So it's pretty crucial if you're going to go this Reflectix route to make sure you cover your floor because you don't want water getting between your seams and then collecting there because there's nowhere for it to go. So it's just going to sit there. So again, the layout here is you'll walk into the kitchen. So this will be kitchen area, pantry right here, bathroom with washer, dryer, shower, toilet. So a good sized bathroom. And then this will be the living room area. The living room's 12 foot by 16. Sliding doors, wood stove here, and then a back bedroom. And then we'll have stairs that will go up into the loft as well. You know, not just a ladder. You know, stairs, anybody can use stairs. And, you know, with a ladder, it works, you can get up there, but, you know, if you're older or whatever, you know, real stairs are so much easier than, you know, a ladder. So definitely going to have stairs. I just haven't decided 100% sure where I'm going to put them, but I got a few options. So once I start framing up interior walls and we figure out exactly how much room we're going to have, then we'll decide, you know, where we're going to put the stairs for sure. But other than that, we have 4 walls up. That's huge. I got the subfloor covered with plastic, so that'll stay dry. And this is just another step done in the build. It was nice to have my dad here. That saved a lot of time. You know, otherwise I'd be going down and up, cutting. You know, it would have been a lot more labor. So I was pretty much able to stay up here. He did all the cutting, threw the boards over to me. So I pretty much just got to nail. So we banged this out in no time. You know, the sheeting, that's really straightforward. That's just slapping it on and nailing it. And, you know, it'll all come out on a stud. And my sheeting, I always do this. I'll overhang it down below the rim joist. So it'll get nailed through the double top plate. Every single stud will get nails, plenty of them. And then it'll overlap down to here as well and get nailed through this, which makes it really strong. So yeah, that's pretty much framing. That's all there is to framing a cabin. You know, starting off with a nice level square platform, making sure all your floor joists are 16 inches on center so your sheets come out nice. And then framing the walls, same thing. All you're doing is nailing your studs 16 inches on center, standing them up, making sure they're plumb, bracing them. Next step is sheeting. So that'll be the next video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for the support, and I'll see you soon.